नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Someone can share. Thank you. So 3633. पद्भ्यां भगवतो जज्ञे शुश्रूष धर्मसिद्धये तस्यां जातः पुरा शूद्रो यद्भृत्या तुष्यते हरिः। पद्भ्यां भगवतो जज्ञे शुश्रूष धर्मसिद्धये तस्यां जाता पुरा शूद्रो यद्भृत्या तुष्यते हरिः। पद्भ्यां भगवतो जज्ञे शुश्रूष धर्मसिद्धये तस्यां जाता पुरा शूद्रो यद्भृत्या तुष्यते हरिः. Go to synonyms. Padbyam, from the legs. Bhagavataha, of the personality of Godhead. Jagne, became manifested. Sushrusha, service. Dharma, occupational duty. Siddhaye, for the matter of. Tasyam, in that. Jata, being generated. Pura, formerly. Sudra, the servitors. Yad Vrutya, the occupation by which. Tusyate, become satisfied. Harihi, the supreme personality of Godhead. Translation by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Thereafter, the service was manifested from the legs of the personality of Godhead for the sake of perfecting the religious function. Situated on the legs are the Sudras who satisfy the Lord by service. Purport by Prabhupada. Service is the real constitutional occupation of all living entities. The living entities are meant to render service to the Lord, and they can attain religious perfection by his service attitude. One cannot attain religious perfection simply by speculating to attain theoretical knowledge. The Gnani division of the spiritualists go on speculating only to distinguish the soul from matter, but they have no information of the activities of the soul after being liberated by knowledge. It is said that persons who only mentally speculate to know things as they are and who do not engage in transcendental loving service of the Lord are simply wasting their time. It is clearly said here that the principle of service was generated from the legs of the Lord for the sake of perfecting the religious process. But this transcendental service is different from the idea of service in the material world. In the material world, no one wants to be a servant. Everyone wants to become the master because false mastership is the basic disease of the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul in the material world wants to lord it over others. Illusioned by the external energy of the Lord, is forced to become a servant of the material world. That is the real position of the conditioned soul. The last snare of the illusory external energy is the conception of becoming one with the Lord. And due to this conception, the illusioned soul remains in the bondage of the material energy, falsely thinking himself a liberated soul and as good as Narayana. It is actually better to be a Sudra than to be a Brahmana and not develop the service attitude, because that attitude alone satisfies the Lord. Every living being, even if he is a Brahmana by qualification, must take to the transcendental service of the Lord. Both Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam support that this service attitude is a perfection of the living entity. A Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, or Sudra can perfect his occupation duties only by rendering service unto the Lord. A Brahmana is supposed to know this fact due to his perfection in Vedic wisdom. The other sections are supposed to follow the directions of the Brahmana Vaishnava. That will make the entire society perfect in regard to the order of its social construction. A disordered society cannot satisfy either the members of society or the Lord. Even if one is not a perfect Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, or Sudra, but takes to the service of the Lord, not caring for the perfection of his social position, he becomes a perfect human being simply by developing attitude of service to the Supreme Lord. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshunmeetam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langete Girim Yatrupattamaham Vande Sri Gurum Devatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyeswa Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhayeva Vaditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Dadati Swapadantikam. Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktan ki jai. So here discussing from Canto 3, Status Q, Chapter 6, Creations of the Universal Form, where it is being described how the Lord is creating through these Purushavataras, Karanodaka Sai Vishnu, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu is expanding into these three Purushas when Lord living entities wants to enjoy. He's just glancing through the time factor. Maya Yaramana Sanaviyogastayasa Fakta Kalam Susradudakshaya. So he's sending the time energy by his glance, that is Kali, external energy. And then from there, this creation is happening. So he's indirectly in touch. So Karanodaka Sai Vishnu is lying down on the causal ocean. And then from his expansion, from his breathing in and out, exhaling and inhaling, the universe are coming as bubbles. And then within each universe, Lord, as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, his expansion is entering into these bubbles, into each of these universes. We are in the smallest universe. Is entering and then is filling half of it with water. And then Prabhupada explains that Garbhodaka ocean is like compared like a coconut. So within the coconut, water, at least the ripe ones, not the green coconut. So half of it is water, filled with water, and inside the coconut shell it is darkness. So like that, when the Lord is expanded himself in Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, and they entered. So everywhere there's a darkness. He can see, but living entities cannot see. So the material world we need within the dark shell, within the coconut shell. Outside there is a light, but within there is no light, darkness. So we need the sun and stars and moon and everything. So Lord, by his glance, is creating and then he is providing all the necessities through his various energies, external energy. So that's what. And then as the coconut is like this, so we need transcendental knowledge, we need that light. And Prabhupada is explaining this in the Bhagavatam, where how Sukadeva Goswami was enlightened by practical experience, enlightened by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. He himself, as soon as he was born itself, is a Brahmavadi, is completely liberated. But he himself again came back running to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from his father. And then he heard by his experience, then he has explained the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj later on, where it's written, Yes, Swanubhavam Akila Sthiti Saram Ekam Adhyat Atitithirsham Tamonandam. We are all in darkness of this, within this universe, material shackles of whirlpools. So to come out of that, so we must Swanubhavam, we must practically experience this by performing Bhakti Yoga. And as the coconut, as it gets dried more and more, then the water gets dried out inside, and then it becomes dry coconut and it becomes detached. The outside you will see the shell, you can see no water, but if you make it, it makes a sound, completely detached. So as soon as you break it, that whole shell comes as is, the whole coconut. So like that, we have to become detached. How will we become detached? Then we have to engage in this sincere devotion service that is mentioned here. Service is the main thing. We'll go into the detail. So Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayo Janayati Asu Vairag Jnanam Cheta Haitu. That's a transcendental knowledge. Adhyatma Deepam Tamonandam. To come out of the darkness, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, we need this Adhyatma Deepam, the torchlight. The spiritual master here, Sukadeva Goswami, has enlightened the whole world, enlightening the Parikshit Maharaj and many others, Sukadeva Goswami, were in the assembly. and we all, as we are getting that nectar from his mouth through Srila Prabhupada and current spiritual master. So that is the first point, as it is mentioned here. Padhyam Bhagavato Jagne Susrusham Dharma Siddhi. So from Lord's, it is also mentioned as from the from his legs, the bottom planets up to the Bhuloka. There are 14 planetary systems. From up to Bhuloka, lower planets are situated on his legs, and the middle planet, as per the Bhuvarloka, above the Bhuvarloka is there. That is situated on his navel, abdomen, and then the higher planets are situated in his on his chest. It is mentioned in this Canto 2, it is mentioned as chest, but in this place it is mentioned as head. So either way, it is not so much difference. So in this way, everything is Lord's body, as the universal form is explained. But this universal form is temporary within this material world only, and not there in the spiritual world. Same thing with the super soul. Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu, again, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu is expanding as super soul. When the living and the coming out is there as Paramatma, even in the demigods. So that is also, super soul is also only in the material world. It is not there in the spiritual world, not needed. Directly the interaction and service is going on in the spiritual world. So how merciful Lord is, very merciful to even the Sudras. So even to the lowest, as it is mentioned. So again, from the head, mouth or head, Brahmanas has appeared as it is manifested, and then from his arms, Kshatriyas has manifested. From his stomach or abdomen, navel, or thighs. So from thighs, the Vaishyas manifested, and then here the last one is from legs, Sudras has manifested. It is a social system, as we can see how the body is. The head must be there, the hands must be there, stomach must be there, legs. All of them has to work together. So it's a natural system where all of them work together. Then there is a peace and harmony, and then satisfaction is there. Same way, these four divisions are there by quality, not by birth. Chaturvarnam Maya Srishtam Gunakarma Vibhagasa. So one pastime is there. Where Sri Prabhupada described, yes, pastime with Sri Prabhupada, the Krishna Balram temple opening, Sri Prabhupada sent Yasomati Nandan Prabhu. I don't know how many of you know Yasomati Nandan Prabhu is a wonderful, great devotee of the Lord and a wonderful disciple of Sri Prabhupada, who passed away recently. From Gujarat. So at a very young age, while he was studying in Detroit, Bhagavan Prabhu has taken him and brought him to Sri Prabhupada. He's studying and you'll be soon working. Then Prabhupada, yeah, wonderfully, you are educated. Where you are from? Surat. Oh, that is a pious place. I was there. They received well reception. Then you should, yes, you can work, but you should construct a nice temple there. And then he has taken his art. And then at the time of his getting, means he was impressed with Krishna consciousness and everything. Then one day they told, yeah, you will be initiated. So get ready. Then they didn't tell him what and all details. Then suddenly somebody came and told, Prabhupada is giving, you need to go, but you have to shave up. He was not told, how can I shave up? I have to go back to work and I cannot go. This is embarrassment. So then he was thinking like that, what to do? So Prabhupada, I cannot wait days. He's doing already initiation, so I have to go. What should I do? Then immediately somebody told, no, don't worry, your hair will come up. So what is the big deal? You can go back to work. So there's no problem. Just do it. Just for once, do it. And then somehow or the other, Krishna's mercy. Then he went, and then Prabhupada has given him. So it was, Prabhupada has given Janak Joshi his name, and then he gave Jasomati Nandan Das. So later on he explained, he understood. Prabhupada brought me here like this. If that wouldn't have happened, this shaving the head and getting initiated, otherwise that wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have. Then immediately he thought, I am shaved now, I don't want to go back to work. I want to go. Then he surrendered. He went back to Chicago and started full time in as a devotee. And later on he got married. And Prabhupada's instruction was there, build a temple. Then later on he built wonderful temples in Surat and whole Gujarat. So one time, then Prabhupada gave in charge to him as Krishna Balram temple in the opening. They told, okay, you be the in charge for the kitchen. Then and then later on he told also invite. He was also being engaged to invite many dignitaries and also the especially devotees from various organizations, not just ISKCON or anything, more than ISKCON, other. So Prabhupada told, okay, then he also had to give invite to big Mayavadi sannyasi Karpatri Maharaj there. Then he also went there and gave. Then he said, yes, this is all very good, excellent work. So I need to, but I cannot come. This is excellent invitation, very good work, but so I cannot come. And that's what he did. Why? He asked, he said, yeah, but your spiritual master is taking all these lectures and yavanas and were eating meat and whatnot, so many simple activities, and then is giving the Brahman Diksha, and then they're like making them Brahmanas. This is they're not correct. So before that also, Prabhupada in 1973 or 74, he was with someone. Then he was preaching, and then later on he told the devotees how to do it and what Shastra is telling. Then Yashodamohanandan Prabhu remembered. Then he quoted immediately that verse from 7th canto Srimad Bhagavata, 11th chapter, verse number 35, the last verse. Yasya lakshanam proktam yasya hi yad lakshanam proktam varnavi venjakam yad anyatravi drishyate tat teneva vinirdisyet. Especially this verse is also around the time. It is not by birth, it is by the symptom. Yasya hi lakshanam, his swabhava, his characteristics, his qualities. It is said varna abhi venjakam. If somebody has a quality of a Brahmana, by birth he might be a Sudra, he might be whatever, lower than Sudra. But if he has a quality of a Brahmana, then he should be accepted. Yad anyatrapi drishyata. He could be, by birth, he could be seen as a whatever the caste. But we should accept that tenaiva vinirdisyet. We should accept based on his symptoms, his qualities, not by birth. So then immediately, oh, your spiritual master has trained you very well. Then after that, then he could understand. Then later on, he used his words. There is a lion and then man like a lion, but it's not exactly same. Lion is different. Man like a lion is different. You cannot become a lion. So two different things. So in that way, he used words regularly, and then he didn't come and didn't accept. So then later on, he came back and told Prabhupada what has happened. Then Prabhupada is very happy to hear that. Did you quote? Prabhupada asked, did you quote this verse? Yes. He told, yes, I quoted. So in this way, we understand from this verse, it is very important that we should know, we should always see that not by birth, always by quality of living entity, how is action. And Prabhupada has brought the mercy, actually. He is bring the fortune to everyone, to all of us, to make us transformed into devotees, to make us transformed into Brahmanas. So by engaging in the service. Now going back to, so here it's explained as Padhyam, the lotus feet of the Lord, by serving. What is supposed to be done? What is the duty of the and also it is mentioned as by the three modes of material, guna karma vibhaga seva. By qualities, by guna is also means three modes. So those who are in the Brahmanas, especially, is in the mode of goodness. Those who are in the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, they are in the mode of passion. And then those who are Sudras, they're in the mode of ignorance. So for them, as it is mentioned, they must serve. And much more details are there. It is mentioned in the Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj is speaking, asking questions to Narada Muni. And Narada Muni said, I will speak from what Lord Narayana has taught to me about what's supposed to be done, what is the characteristics, and what are the duties of these four varnas. Especially, we'll discuss about what is the duty of a Sudra, and it is also very important for devotees also. It is mentioned Vaisyas and Sudras. Vaisyas must engage. Vaisyas tu varta vrittisyan nityam brahma kalanuga Sudraya dvija sustrusha vrittischa swamino bhavet. So Vaishya mercantile community should always follow the directions of the Brahmanas and engage in such occupational duties as agriculture, trade, and production of cows. For the Sudras, only duty is to accept a master from higher social order and engage in his service. And so offering, and then further it is mentioned. So what are there are 7 things, 7 principles as per like Brahmanas has this Yajanyajan, Patan Patan, 6 of them. Patan Patan, Dana Pratigna. He must do sacrifice, he must engage others in sacrifice, he must learn himself Yajanyajan, Patan Patan. He must read, he must study and understand, he must also teach others. Dana Pratigna, he must do charity, he should keep only limited what he can, what he needs, and remaining he should give charity. In this way, so he must, and the Kshatriyas has five of those duties, and then Vaisyas a little less, and then Sudras it is mentioned as 7, offering obeisances to the higher section of the society, which is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya. And he must be very clean. There shouldn't be any no duplicity behavior. This is very important for, and very clean also, it's very important for devotees. And serving all the other sections. And then performing sacrifices without uttering any mantras, because it's not going to help. Unless somebody comes to the Dvija, twice born, which is Vaisya, Kshatriya, Brahmana, there is no use of uttering mantra. There will not be any there will not be any results by as uttering mantras, because they are not up to that level. And not stealing. Prabhupada emphasizes this in the purport very much. Not stealing. So we should be also, as devotees, also we should know this very good, especially anything in touch, anything related to the, because we are trying to steal in one sense. Material world means we are trying to enjoy. We are taking ardha and everything as possessions, thinking as our own. Even though we are working, so whatever we get is everything is mine. But actually, everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. So that is in one sense is also stealing. So, and we shouldn't also let others steal our bhakti. So, which means when we criticize, when we are engaged in others, finding faults and fighting, then obviously, then so we are getting also the karma implicated from that. So that is others are stealing your bhakti. So we should be careful not to be connected, not to be engaged, unless you are in the management dealing with those issues. That's a different story. But rest, all of us, we should be very cognizant of this fact. Not stealing has this many meanings. Speaking truth and giving protection to cows and brahmanas. So Sudrasya Sannati Saucham. Saucham means very clean. Sannati means around serving others. Seva, service. Swamini Amaya. Amantrata yajno hi asteyam. Satyam go vipra rakshanam. This way, this is a very important aspects. So where we'll go to this, how Lord Nityananda Prabhu has delivered all of them. Before that, we can see that Sri Prabhupada, his devotees translated this Mukunda Mala Stotra, where it is mentioning that Mat Janmana Prardhanayam Mat Janmana Palamidam Madhukaita Vare Mat Prardhanayam Mat Anugraha Yesha Eva Vat Brutya Parisaraka Brutyasya Brutya Itimas Smaralokanada 7 times. Why didn't you mention just 1 time but 7 times? And the reasons, one reason is Lord doesn't accept anybody who's directly just coming directly to serve the Lord. He accepts only the devotees, serving the devotees who are serving the Lord. So not directly. So that is one reason. Another reason is giving. So by serving the devotees, it makes us humble. So that was another reason I mentioned. So there could be other reasons also. Prabhupada would have mentioned in other place, but at least we can see 7 times he is mentioning about this, how important it is to be. King Kulasekara is praying to the Supreme Lord. There also we see before also Mukunda Mordna Pranipatyache Avisprute Bhave Prasadat Avisprute Tat Charanaravind. So let me be always serve your lotus feet life after life, Lord Mukunda, Lord Krishna. So it is very important to be always attached to the lotus feet of devotees, spiritual master. And we can see Narada Muni's example. First example is being given exactly on this same. Narada Muni was born of a son of a Sudrani. So how he was able to come to that platform? He was has a frivolous, sportive mentality. All those things were there. It is mentioned before initiation itself. They initiated him even when he was having that sportive mentality and all that. He was not ready for initiation. But this Bhakti Vedantis who came for the rainy season, They have initiated him by seeing him, because that is a quality of pure devotee, always compassionate, forgiveness. This is a quality. So they initiated him, the Narada Muni, and then he started with rapt attention, very attentively he was hearing. Tatran vaham Krishna Katha pragayatam astranavena manohara. And then he also taken remnant from them. Uchchastalaipan anumodito dvijay. So by taking remnants, and by their permission taken remnant, by serving them, by hearing with rapt attention, serving them with rapt attention. It is mentioned there, Prabhupada's purport. To the degree we are surrendering and following instruction and serving the spiritual master, to that degree only Lord will reveal himself. It is clearly Prabhupada is mentioning in this first canto, chapter 5, one of those 24 or something. So that means we can understand how much it is important to serve the spiritual master and devotees. To the degree we serve, to that degree only we'll be able to understand and Lord will reveal. Otherwise, we cannot understand this. So now how do we, so Lord Nityananda Prabhu is showing by taking the shelter of Lord Nityananda Prabhu and serving him and serving the devotees, we can perfect our life. As mentioned, Loknath, I think who wrote Lochan Das Thakur, sorry, in one of the songs, beautiful prayer, Lochan Das Thakur song, Dina Hina Patita Pamara Nahi Bache, Brahmara Durlaba Prem Sadakara Jate. So even it is very difficult for Brahma and other demigods to attain the mercy, to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. But he is very favorable to even the lowest of the lowest. He delivers. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. And we can see how here in this Chaitanya Bhagavat, in Antya Kanda, part 2, chapter 5, where it is explained that by the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he delivered the dacoit. Suno, suno, Nityananda Prabhu Rakshan, Sura Dasya Yei Mate Karila Paritran. In Navadvip, there lived one particular Brahmana son who had no equal among the dacoits and rogues. Navadvip Vaisya Eka Brahman Kumar, Tanharas Saman Chara Dasya Nahi Ar. So he was the leader of all the dacoits. Evil-minded person, was a Brahmana in name only. He mercilessly killed others and always remained in the company of other dacoits. One time he saw Nityananda Swarup was decorated with divine necklaces, ornaments made of gold, pearls, and jewels and pearls. And seeing these various valuable ornaments on Lord's body, dacoit Brahmana decided to steal them. So wherever Nityananda went, the Brahmana stealthily followed him for the purpose of stealing his wealth. Nityananda, a super soul in everyone's heart, knew the intentions of that wicked-minded Brahmana. And then Nityananda lived in Navadvip, there lived one qualified Brahmana named Hiranya Pandit, who had no material assets. But Nityananda left his associates, quietly resided in the house of this fortunate Hiranya Pandit. The sinful Brahmana was most wicked. He gathered the other dacoits and they made plan. Oh, brothers, why are we still suffering? Godless Chandi has provided for us a treasure in one place. Ornaments decorating the body of these Avadut are all made of gold, pearls, and diamonds. I cannot see how many hundreds of thousands of rupees these ornaments are worth, and Goddess Chandi had brought them together in one place. He lives alone in the house of Hiranya. We can go there and take everything within a half an hour. Collect your swords, shields for tonight. We'll raid that house. After making plans in this way, the dacoits waited for the night and then set out for the house. Equipped with swords, knives, tridents, and they gathered near the house where Nityananda was staying. Those dacoits all waited at one place, and while they sent a spy to check out the situation. And then Nityananda Prabhu was taking his meal, devotees were chanting the name of Hari in the 4 directions. And servants of Nityananda were so intoxicated in the ecstasy that some of them roared like lions, some thundered, some cried in the mellows of ecstasy loud, others called out, hi, hi, in the ecstasy of Krishna. Constant, no one slept. So all the dacoits sat under a tree, satisfied that they would soon plunder someone's wealth. One of them told, I will take his bracelets. Another told, I will take his pearl necklace. So by the will of Nityananda, at the time, the goddess of sleep cast her glance on the dacoits. All the dacoits fell asleep at that place. They became practically unconscious in deep sleep. So we can see now it's already 7. So this pastime goes on. This is the first instance where they fell asleep. They goes back again. The second time they come. This time they were again they worship the chandi and then they offer wine and meat. And they try to do it again still. But this time also again, there so many soldiers were there somehow all of a sudden. And then they couldn't do anything. They go back and third time we appear, then they fall into, they completely become blind. They fall into ditch, they fall into where rice is on, they were bitten by scorpions and insects. So left and right, somehow they couldn't do anything. So they're completely lost. Then Lord Nityananda Prabhu in this delivers them finally. So gives his mercy to them. So we can see by taking shelter of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So it is mentioned, Jaya Jaya Avaduta Chandra Nityananda Jagat Bandile Karen Diya Prema Panda. So by taking shelter of this Avaduta Siromani, so who has bounded the whole world with his nose, with a rope bounded to the nose, he delivers all of them by most merciful, than even more merciful than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And our Srila Prabhupada is even more merciful than Nityananda Prabhu. So yes, they can, Lord can do, but I cannot reject anybody, even if they fall down. Prabhupada is to just simply solve all these situations just by talking philosophy 2 minutes. Peacefully, even though many fell down or whatnot, so many simple activities also still Prabhupada still let them continue, chant, continue devotional service. He accepted, he was so compassionate. So by taking shelter of Prabhupada, we can all attain so our Krishna Prema in this life. We are seriously following. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.